Let's talk about Christmas. Well, not specifically Christmas, but more boxing events around Christmas. Before we get into specifics, what do you think is the viability of boxing shows close to Christmas, both at the gate and on TV?
Not ideal. I mean, you're talking about December 22nd, but you're kind of restricted these days. It's more a venue choice rather than necessarily a date choice. Like, I think 15 is generally the cut-off. The 15th would generally be the cut-off. But my argument actually is that the 22nd is a good date. Maybe it's just me thinking this. This is why I think this. Because you've got Christmas Eve, which will fall on Monday. All right? Are you going to go out on the Saturday night? I don't think so. I think that's a Saturday you'd actually stay in and potentially watch a pay-per-view. The gate's the gate. That ain't going to be a problem for these type of fights. For Warrington, Frampton, for Chisora against Whyte, you'll sell out instantly, okay? So it's really just about the pay-per-view numbers. Unfortunately, if we had a choice, we wouldn't go to 22nd. We would go the 8th or the 15th. That's got nothing to do with clashing, by the way, although it's not ideal for anyone. But it's kind of like, you speak to the O2 and they say, the only date we have is the 22nd. Okay, that's the date we're going. Now, obviously, if we were concerned about another pay-per-view, we just go, we can't go on that date. So I'll give you a clue. If it was Wilder Fury on the 22nd, we wouldn't be going on the 22nd.
You're not concerned about Frampton Warrington?
Not in the slightest. That won't break 100,000 buyers. So we've got...
That's a big claim.
It's a new platform. I mean, Quigg against Frampton did 220, right? And that was the super fight of the division. You know, you had Quigg and Frampton, unified title. You had Joe Gallagher and you had Shane McGuigan. You had me and Barry. You had Belfast and Manchester. So and you had Sky. Okay, so I don't, Frampton, Warrington, brilliant fight, but not going to break 100,000 buys. Might struggle to do 50, right? So
what do you think the card you're planning will do? And we're talking about Whyte Chisora too, right?
Could do 1 million buys. It'll certainly do 500,000 or 600,000 buys.
Will you be looking to stack the undercard? Whyte Chisora 2 is a good fight in its own right, but
yeah, it will be. I mean, certain cards, I know the budgets for different size pay-per-views for undercards, yeah? So, Hey Bellew Usyk, good undercards. Not going to be like, like for example, the Whyte Parker card was a really good undercard. Okay, now people criticised that before. In the end, they walked away saying that was the best night of boxing I've ever been to. So Whyte Chisora would come with a similar card to Whyte Parker, a big night of boxing. You have to, because it's really tough because when you do an AJ show, right? And, I think we've actually got a good card for the AJ show. When's this going out?
Probably today or tomorrow.
Yeah. So we've also just announced Price against Kuzmin, heavyweight fight.
Well, it is happening now. Good, I wrote an online article about that, which will go through the roof now, yeah.
Exactly. So that's happening. There's one more to be added. Then you've got a Coley Askin and you've got Campbell Mendy. That's a strong card. Like, I know people will always moan, and we've been a bit late, to be fair, because we had Eggington Rios, that went tits up. So, but when you look around at Wembley, half an hour before AJ walks, it's a different vibe, Like, the VIP customers are still in the bar. And they come out as AJ's about to ring walk. It's quite frustrating, actually, to be honest with you, because we do spend a lot of money on these undercards. Sure. Rightfully so. So we've got to get the mix between, but we know we have to provide value. So on an AJ card or a massive headline act, the budget is less than if it is for Whyte Parker. So it's just getting the mix right. But the key for us, we're only ever judged on the last pay-per-view. So right now, the last pay-per-view was Whyte Parker, which was one of the people saying one of the best pay-per-view cards or cards we've ever seen. Right?
What did it do in terms of views?
Decent. I mean, looks like it's going to be 400,000 plus, which is, it's big.
So the obvious question then, if it did 400,000, which is a respectable number, you're saying Whyte Chisora rematch could do 1 million near Christmas?
It does 500,000-600,000, could touch 1 million.
Why do you think there'll be such a rise between the two? What's the difference maker?
It's two Brits. The beef is unreal and will be unreal. The first fight was one of the best heavyweight fights you've ever seen. Dillian Whyte's profile is through the roof. He's coming off the back of a pay-per-view where everyone was absolutely ecstatic with the night and his performance.
And Chisora's performance.
Exactly. So 500,000-600,000 is a conservative number, and with a following wind and a great build-up, who knows? Could hit 1 million buys?
And although you picked the date because of the venue, nothing to do with clashing, are you frustrated at all that it is likely to clash with Warrington Frampton, although you don't expect Warrington Frampton to do great numbers?
Again, like the PC Eddie Hearn should say, yes, I am.
On the fans' behalf?
Yeah, but we're going to, with these new deals that we're announcing over the next couple of months, we're going to be doing 52 shows a year. That's every single weekend. So it's impossible not to clash. In an ideal world, yes. I mean, look, we may lose 30 or 40,000 buyers to Frampton. You know, that could be £500,000 of revenue into the show. So yeah, it's not ideal. But again, if the shoe was on the other foot, he wouldn't be bothered. You know, so we don't look to clash. Okay, sometimes we have no choice. And if we were up against something that was a threat, we would go another day. We'd just have to do it at the XL, or we'd have to do it in Manchester, or I don't know, somewhere. But no disrespect to that fight, it's not on our radar, you know. Again, like if Fury and Wilder come out and said we're going on the 22nd, we'd have to change our plans. Yeah. So.
Just one final question. If competition continues to heat up, as I'm sure it will, and as you think it will, would you and Sky consider putting more of the pay-per-view undercard free on Sky as a lead-in, as a marketing tool?
Not really, because then you're depleting the value of the pay-per-view purchase. So, but there is already 5 till 6 on Facebook, 6 till 7 a lot of the time is a free view spot. It is for Joshua coming up. So I just think it's hard. You know, if you say it's £19.95, but you can watch half of it for free, you know, I'm trying to sell the night of boxing. I'm saying tune in from 6 o'clock, get your food ready, your beers and your pizza, settle up for a great night of boxing, and then AJ at the end of it. So,
would you like to see more shoulder programming around the big events?
Always. I mean, I think Sky do a good job of shoulder programming against pay-per-view. I mean, you wait to see what the Zone are doing. I mean, it's on another level. So, but always feel that shoulder programming is absolute key because of the way people are digesting content now. I mean, sometimes you'll see 24/7s outperforming a Saturday night fight night. Yeah. You know, I mean, but shoulder programming doesn't always have to come via the host broadcaster. BBC have done a lot of shoulder programming for us around Joshua fights. You know, so our social channels, I mean, you've just seen us launch 3 new shows before every individual event. They really got really good feedback last week, and they're going to continue to grow. So absolutely, you know, a must for our events is to increase shoulder programming and you know, try and reach as wide an audience as possible.
Brilliant. Eddie Hearn, we thank you for your time. Best luck at the press conference.
Cheers, mate.
Brilliant. Cheers, mate.